I killed my best friend. Well, not literally, but I destroyed her life so completely that when they found her body in Biscayne Bay 3 weeks ago, part of me wondered if she'd done it herself. If the guilt finally caught up.
They found her at dawn,
Face down in the water, wearing a designer dress from a boutique she could never really afford. Diamonds that weren't hers around her neck. The police called it suicide. Her family called it tragedy. I didn't call it anything, because I was too busy remembering the girl she used to be. Before the money, before the lies, before she looked me in the eyes and smiled while planning my death. But let me start from the beginning. Let me show you what she did. And then you can decide if what I did back makes me a monster, or just someone who refused to die quietly. 3 months earlier, Miami, 2 a.m. The kind of night where the heat doesn't break even after the sun goes down. I was hanging off the side of a 40-story building, and all I could think was, this is not how I picture my Tuesday going. My name's Maya Reyes. I'm 28 years old. I live in Miami, and I steal things for a living. Not jewelry or cash or anything simple. I steal secrets. Corporate secrets. The kind that companies would kill to protect and pay millions to acquire. It's called corporate intelligence work, but really, we're just very expensive thieves with better lawyers. Most nights, it's actually boring. Breaking into computer systems, copying files, getting out before security notices. But that night, someone wanted me dead. I was on the 40th floor of a high-rise downtown, fingers flying across a keyboard, downloading files from a pharmaceutical company's private server. My boyfriend Jack's voice crackled through my earpiece. Maya, you need to move. Security just changed patrol routes. My hands froze.
What?
That wasn't in the schedule. I don't know, but they're headed your way. How much longer? I looked at the screen. 87%. 90. I could hear boots in the hallway. Voices shouting. 95%. The door handle started to turn. Come on, I whispered. 98%. The door exploded open. Men in security uniforms. Guns drawn.
Pointed at me.
I grabbed the USB drive, didn't even wait for 100%, and dove for the window. Yes, the window. 40 floors up. But I'd set up a rappelling line earlier, and my body moved on muscle memory. Grabbed the rope. Went over the edge. Dropped into darkness while bullets punched holes in the glass above my head. The rope burned through my gloves. My shoulders screamed. But I'd done this before.
This was my job.
This was what I was good at. By the time I hit the alley and disappeared into the Miami night, my hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold my phone. That's when I knew. Someone had tipped them off. Someone knew I was coming. And someone wanted me caught. Or worse. Let me back up and tell you how a girl from Little Havana ended up breaking into buildings at 2 a.m. I grew up with my mom, Carmen, in a tiny apartment where you could hear the neighbors' conversations through the walls. My dad died when I was 6. Heart attack. Dropped dead under some rich guy's BMW he was fixing for $12 an hour. After that, it was just me and Mom. She cleaned houses for a living. Rich people's houses in Coral Gables and Miami Beach. Mansions where the walk-in closets were bigger than our entire apartment. And every single day, she'd come home exhausted, feet aching, and tell me the same thing. Mija, you're going to college. You're going to marry someone with money. You're going to have the life I never got. Not be whatever you want. Not follow your dreams. Just marry rich. Escape. Don't end up scrubbing toilets for people who barely see you as human. So, I worked my ass off. Got a scholarship to the University of Miami. Studied computer science because it paid well. And that's where I met the girl who would become my best friend. And eventually, the reason I learned what real betrayal tastes like. Sienna Blake. We met freshman year in the dorm bathroom at 2 in the morning. I was there studying because my roommate had her boyfriend over, and I had an exam the next day. Sienna stumbled in, mascara running down her face, crying so hard she was shaking. Some guy had just dumped her at a party. Told her she was too clingy in front of everyone. I didn't know her. We'd never even spoken. But I couldn't just leave her there sobbing on the bathroom floor. So I gave her some tissues, sat down next to her, and told her that any guy who dumps someone publicly is a coward, and she deserved better. She looked at me with these big brown eyes, red from crying, and said, "Why are you being nice to me? You don't even know me." I shrugged. Because someone was nice to me once when I needed it. Just paying it forward. After that night, we were inseparable. Best friends. Sisters practically. She was the kind of beautiful that made people stop mid-sentence. Long dark hair that caught the light. Honey brown skin that seemed to glow. The kind of smile that could get her anything she wanted. And she knew it. God, did she know it? Sienna dreamed of being famous. An influencer, a model, something that would get her noticed. She'd post photos at expensive restaurants she could barely afford, claiming they were just a casual Tuesday. She'd wear designer clothes, take 50 photos, then return them the next day. She'd talk about her brand and her aesthetic like she was running a Fortune 500 company instead of posting selfies. "I'm building something, Maya," she'd say. "You wouldn't understand because you're not visual like me. But trust me, I'm going to be huge." And I'd nod and smile and tell myself she was just ambitious. That her constant name-dropping and humble bragging were just insecurity. That deep down, she was still the girl crying in that bathroom. Looking back, I was making excuses. Because I wanted to believe the girl I'd helped that night was real. That the friendship we'd built meant something. But people show you who they are. And I just kept refusing to see it. Like when she'd forget her wallet every time we went out. "Oh my God. Maya, I'm so sorry. I'll get you back." She never did. Or when she'd cancel plans at the last minute because something came up with a photographer. The photographer was usually just some guy with an iPhone trying to sleep with her. Or when she'd post photos of us together but crop me out or blur my face. "You're just not as photogenic, babe. No offense." I told myself it was fine. She was just focused on her goals. Driven. That's what I kept telling myself. Even when the signs were screaming. After college, I got recruited by a private intelligence firm run by a guy named Marcus. Former government. The kind who doesn't talk about what he used to do. Now he runs operations for corporate clients who need, let's call it, competitive information. Stealing trade secrets. Planting surveillance. Finding out what the competition is developing before they announce it. The money was ridiculous. Way more than I'd make doing normal tech work. And I was good at it. Really good. That's how I met Jack Morrison. 30 years old. Former Marine. Blonde hair, he kept military short even though he'd been out for 6 years. Blue eyes that could go from warm to ice cold depending on the situation. Defined muscles that came from actual work, not a gym membership. He was my partner. We'd work jobs together. He'd handle security and logistics, I'd handle the technology. After about a year of working together, we started dating. It felt natural.
Easy.
He understood the weird hours, the adrenaline, the danger. He made me laugh. Made me feel safe. And I thought, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the guy. My mother, of course, hated him. "Maya, he lives in a warehouse." "Mommy, it's not a warehouse. It's our office." "He doesn't have a stable job. He has a very stable job. He can't give you the life you deserve." That phrase, the life you deserve. Like I was some kind of princess waiting for a rich prince to rescue me. But here's the thing about my mom. She wasn't trying to be cruel. She was scared. Scared I'd end up like her. Working myself to death for people who saw her as invisible. She wanted me safe. Comfortable. Married to someone who could take care of me financially. She didn't understand that I didn't need taking care of. That I could handle myself. Or maybe she understood too well. Maybe that's what scared her most. Anyway, back to that night 3 months ago. After I escaped the building, I went back to our base, the old warehouse in Wynwood that we'd converted into an office. Jack was waiting. The second I walked in, he grabbed my shoulders, eyes scanning me for injuries. "Are you okay? Did they hit you?" "I'm fine." But Jack, they knew. Someone told them I was coming. His jaw tightened. "You think we have a leak?" "I know we do." Our team was small.
Me, Jack.
2 other guys who were currently overseas on another job. And Marcus, who'd been running operations for 15 years without a single breach. So who talked? "I'll tell Marcus," Jack said. "We'll figure this out." He pulled me into a hug, and for a moment, I let myself lean into him. Let myself feel safe. Not knowing that the danger wasn't out there somewhere. It was right here. In my boyfriend's arms. The next morning, I met Sienna for brunch at this trendy place in Betrayal she loved. Overpriced avocado toast and $20 mimosas. The kind of restaurant where everyone's photographing their food instead of eating it. Sienna was already there when I arrived, taking selfies with her untouched food. "Hold on, the lighting's perfect right now," she said without looking up. I sat down and waited. And waited. After about 3 minutes and 40 photos, she finally put her phone down. "Okay, done. God, my engagement has been insane lately. I got like 2,000 likes on my post yesterday. 2,000, Maya. That's great. It's not great. It's incredible. Do you know how hard I've worked for this? Most people don't understand the strategy behind building a following. It's basically a full-time job. She'd posted a photo of herself in a bikini. The strategy was cleavage. But I didn't say that. Anyway, she continued, not waiting for response. I have huge news. Massive news. What? I met someone. And Maya, he's perfect. Like, actually perfect. Not perfect for me, just perfect. Period. I'd heard this before. Sienna fell in love approximately every 3 months. Each time it was different. Each time the guy was the one. What's his name? I asked, picking up my menu. Derek. She said it like she was announcing royalty. He owns hotels. Multiple hotels. High-end properties in Aspen, Miami, the Hamptons. He's taking me to Aspen next month on his private jet. She shoved her phone across the table. A photo of a good-looking guy in his mid-40s. Slick back hair. Expensive watch. The kind of confident smile that said, I've never heard the word no in my life.
Wow.
That's really fast, Sienna. It's not fast when you know? Like, I saw him across the room at this charity thing, and I just knew. We connected on such a deep level. He gets me, like, actually gets me. She'd known him for a week. And the best part? He's connected. He knows everyone. He's already introducing me to marketing executives, brand managers, people who can take my platform to the next level. He even has a younger sister, who's some big-shot lawyer. They're super close, which is adorable. Sienna grabbed my hand across the table. Maya, this is it. This is the life I've been manifesting. The universe is finally rewarding me for my positive energy and hard work. Her hard work consisted of posting thirst traps and flirting with rich men in hotel bars. But again, I didn't say that. Just be careful, okay? You don't really know him yet. Her face changed instantly. The smile vanished like I'd flipped a switch. Why do you always do this? Do what?
This
thing where you try to bring me down. Every single time something good happens to me, you find a way to make it negative. Sienna, I'm not. You are. And honestly, I'm getting really tired of it. Maybe you're jealous because you're stuck with Jack, who can barely afford to take you to Olive Garden, and I'm dating someone who just bought me a Cartier bracelet. She held up her wrist. The bracelet was there. Probably cost more than my rent. I'm not jealous. I'm just saying.
What?
That I should stay small? That I should date guys who work regular jobs and live regular lives like you? No thanks. Some of us want more, Maya. Some of us aren't afraid to reach for it. She stood up, grabbing her designer purse. The one I knew for a fact she'd bought with 3 different credit cards. Where are you going? I have a meeting with Derek. He's introducing me to some marketing people. Real professionals who understand branding. Not people who break into buildings for a living. Sienna, come on. Call me when you're ready to support me instead of tearing me down. And maybe think about why you're so threatened by my success. She walked out, head high, phone already out, probably texting Derek about how toxic I was. And I sat there alone with my overpriced toast, telling myself she didn't mean it, that she was just stressed, that the girl I'd helped in that bathroom 10 years ago was still in there somewhere. I was wrong, but I didn't know that yet. A week later, Marcus called us in for a new assignment. The target was a tech billionaire named Damien Cole, 35 years old. Built a software company from nothing, sold it for 9 figures before he was 30. Now he was into artificial intelligence, biotechnology, cutting-edge stuff that was years ahead of the competition. Our client wanted to know what he was developing. Specifically, they wanted his new encryption technology that was supposedly unhackable. This guy's different, Marcus said, spreading photos across the table. He's paranoid. Security is top tier. You'll need to infiltrate his world, not just his servers.
How?
I asked. He's hosting a charity gala next week. $5,000 a plate. We got you on the guest list as a potential investor. Get close, plant a tracker on his phone, and we can move on the technology. He slid an invitation across to me. Elegant script. Damien Cole's name. What else do we know about him? Jack asked. Careful. Controlled. Doesn't date publicly. No scandals, no drama. Lives in a penthouse in South Beach with security that would make the Secret Service jealous. Marcus pulled up another photo. This is Adrian Reeves, head of security. Former Delta Force. Completely loyal. If you want to get to Cole, you have to get past Reeves first. Don't underestimate either of them. I studied the photos. Damien Cole was striking. Not conventionally handsome, but compelling. Tall and lean. Dark hair that looked like he ran his hands through it instead of styling it.
Sharp jawline.
And gray eyes that seemed to look right through the camera. He wore a suit that probably cost more than my car, but he wore it like he'd rather be in jeans. Sounds simple enough, I said. Marcus looked at me seriously.
Maya.
This one's different. Don't get cocky. He had no idea how right he was. The night of the gala, I put on a borrowed designer gown and tried to look like I belonged among millionaires. The dress was black, sleek, expensive looking enough to pass. Jack was outside in a surveillance, been listening through my earpiece. You look beautiful, he'd said before I left. But his voice was quiet, like he knew I was walking into a world he'd never belonged to. And maybe that bothered him more than he wanted to admit. The gala was at an art museum overlooking Biscayne Bay. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Champagne in crystal glasses. String quartet playing classical music. Women wearing jewelry worth more than most people make in a year. I walked in like I owned the place. Confidence is half the job in this line of work. The other half is knowing when to become invisible. I spotted Damien Cole almost immediately. He was standing by the massive windows, glass of something expensive in his hand, surrounded by people hanging on his every word. And God, in person, he was even more magnetic.
Tall.
Presence that filled the space around him. That perfectly tailored suit that somehow looked casual on his frame. Those gray eyes scanning the room like he was cataloging everyone and everything. I started moving toward him. That's when someone stepped into my path.
Tall.
Broad shoulders that filled his suit. Dark brown skin. Military short hair. Eyes that assessed me in approximately 2 seconds and made a decision. Can I help you? He asked. His voice was deep. Controlled. Every syllable measured. This had to be Adrian Reeves. I was just going to say hello to Mr. Cole, I said, giving him my best confident smile. He's in a private conversation. Looks like a party to me. His expression didn't change. Then you're not looking close enough. We stared at each other. A test. Tell him Maya Reyes would like a moment of his time. I'm considering a significant investment in his biotech division. Adrian pulled out a phone without breaking eye contact, turned slightly, and murmured something too quiet for me to hear. A moment later, he pocketed the phone. 5 minutes. He led me through the crowd. People moved out of his way without consciously thinking about it. This wasn't just security. This was a man who commanded space. We stopped in front of Damien Cole. Up close, he was even more intense. Mr. Cole, Adrian said. Maya Reyes. She'd like to discuss investment opportunities. Damien turned. Those gray eyes locked onto mine. And something happened that I wasn't prepared for. Not instant attraction, exactly. More like recognition. Like my soul knew his from somewhere else. Somewhere before. Ms. Reyes. He extended his hand. It's a pleasure. His handshake was firm. Warm. And when our skin touched, I felt electricity run up my arm. The pleasure's mine, Mr. Cole. I've been following your work. What you're building is extraordinary. A small smile touched his lips. Walk with me? We moved toward a balcony, overlooking the water. Adrian followed, but kept his distance. Always watching. Always ready. So, Damien said, leaning against the railing, looking out at the bay. What do you really want, Ms. Reyes? My pulse jumped. I'm sorry. He turned to face me. Those gray eyes seeing straight through me. Your dress is borrowed. Designer, but not yours. The jewelry is costume, expensive costume, but I can tell. And you've been scanning for exits since you walked in, not admiring the art.
Shit.
He'd made me in less than a minute. So I'll ask again, he continued, voice calm. What do you really want? Behind him, I saw Adrian's hand move subtly toward his jacket, where I knew a gun waited. I was trapped on a balcony, 40 feet above the ground. Nowhere to run. Time to improvise. You're right, I said, keeping my voice steady. I'm not an investor. I'm a security consultant. Someone hired me to test your systems. See if I could get close to you. Not entirely true, but close enough to be believable. Damien studied me for a long moment. Who hired you? I can't disclose that. Client confidentiality. Of course. He turned back to the water. Silent. Just watching the lights reflect off the bay. Then, I like you, Ms. Reyes. You're honest when caught. That's rare in my world. I try. Adrian, he said without looking back. Your assessment? Adrian stepped closer. She's lying about being hired for security testing. She's here to steal something. Probably the encryption technology. We should call the authorities. Probably, Damien agreed. But I'm curious. He pulled out his phone, typed something quickly, then turned the screen toward me. A digital business card. Damien Cole, CEO, Cole Technologies. Let's talk. Call me tomorrow, he said. If you're going to try to steal from me, I'd rather hire you first. You're clearly talented. Then he walked back inside.
Just like that.
Left me standing on that balcony with Adrian staring at me like he wanted to personally throw me into the bay. You just made a very dangerous enemy, Adrian said quietly. Did I? Or, he said, you made an even more dangerous friend. With Damien, it's hard to tell which is worse. Then he followed his boss inside. And I stood there alone, heart pounding, wondering what the hell just happened. That was insane, Jack said when I got back to the car. He made me, instantly.
How?
I don't know. My cover was perfect, Jack. But he saw through it in 30 seconds like I was wearing a neon sign. Jack was quiet. Maybe he's just that smart. Maybe. But something bothered me. How did Damien know to look for tells? Unless someone had warned him. But I pushed the thought away, because the alternative was too terrible to consider. 3 days later, I went back to the office to grab some equipment for another job. Marcus wasn't there. The warehouse was empty. I was about to leave when I noticed something on my desk that hadn't been there before. A manila envelope. No label. No markings. Just sitting there. I opened it. Inside were surveillance photos. The first one showed Sienna, standing outside a luxury hotel I recognized, taking a thick envelope from a man I'd never seen before. My stomach dropped. I flipped to the next photo. Sienna and Jack, in a hotel room, kissing. The world tilted. I couldn't breathe, couldn't process what I was seeing. The third photo was all three of them, Sienna,
Jack,
and the mystery man, sitting at a table like they were conducting business. There was a note clipped to the back. Marcus's handwriting. Maya, I've had a bad feeling for a few weeks but wasn't sure. Couldn't accuse Jack without solid proof. He works for me too, and I needed to be certain before making that kind of accusation. Now I'm certain. The man is Viktor Petrov, Russian intelligence. They've been selling out our operations to competitors and foreign entities. Every mission for the last 3 months that went wrong.
this is why.
There's more. I intercepted communications. They're setting you up. Your next mission is a trap. There's a contract on your head, $50,000. If you go in, you won't come out alive. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you sooner. I needed proof.
I'm sorry.
I stood there holding those photos, watching my entire world disintegrate. My best friend since college. The girl I'd sat with on a bathroom floor. The girl I defended when people called her shallow. The girl I'd made excuses for over and over and over. My boyfriend. The man I thought I might marry. The man I trusted with my life. Together. Betraying me. Selling me out. Planning my death. For money. How long had this been going on? How many times had I talked to Sienna about Jack while she was sleeping with him? How many times had Sienna complained about being broke while collecting Russian money for my head? How many times had Jack kissed me goodnight while counting the days until I was dead? My phone rang. Marcus. I answered. You saw it, he said. Statement, not question.
Yeah.
Maya, I'm so sorry. I should have. When's the mission? Tomorrow night. But we're canceling it. I'm pulling you out, getting you somewhere safe.
No.
Maya. I'm going. Are you insane? They'll kill you. Maybe. Or maybe I'll kill them first. What are you planning? I looked at those photos one more time. At Sienna's smile. At Jack's face. At the life they tried to steal while I was still living it. They wanted me dead. I said quietly. So, I'm going to die. And then I'm going to come back as something they can't kill. Maya, don't do anything stupid. Stupid would be trusting them. I'm done being stupid. I hung up, stood there in the silence of that empty warehouse, and started planning my resurrection. The mission was supposed to be straightforward. Break into a pharmaceutical research facility. Steal proprietary drug formulas. Standard job. Except I knew it was a trap. I knew armed security would be waiting. Knew they'd been paid to kill me and make it look like a botched robbery. But I went anyway, because I had my own plan. And part of that plan making sure Jack thought I was walking in blind. I walked into that building at midnight, earpiece in, playing my role. Jack's voice came through, smooth as always. Maya, be careful tonight. Something feels off about this one. I let my voice shake just a little, just enough.
Yeah.
I feel it too. You okay? I need to ask you something.
Pause.
What? Are you sleeping with Sienna? Silence. Beautiful, terrible silence. Maya, what are you? Don't lie to me, Jack.
I saw you.
At the hotel on Collins. 2 days ago. I hadn't. But Marcus's photos were enough. More silence. Then he laughed. Actually laughed. You saw that, huh? My heart was ice. How long? Does it matter? Yes. He sighed, like I was being difficult about something trivial. 3 months. Maybe 4. Honestly, Maya, it just happened. She gets me in ways you don't. I close my eyes. Force my voice to break. I thought we had something real. We did. But come on. You had to know this wasn't forever. You're great at your job. Maya, I'll give you that. But Sienna, she's going places. She has ambition beyond stealing files in the middle of the night. She's building a brand. She's someone. And I'm not. You're smart. But you're not special. Not like her. She lights up a room. You just blend into the background. The words were designed to hurt. And they did. But right now, I needed him to think I was devastated. Unfocused. Emotional. Walking into this building with my head full of heartbreak instead of watching for danger. I can't believe I trusted you, I whispered.
Yeah, well.
That's on you. You always were a little naive. Comes from growing up poor, I guess. You don't know how to read people who have real ambition. Then he said the thing that told me everything I needed to know. Look, finish the job tonight. Get the files. We'll talk when you get back, okay? Maybe we can still work together professionally. I don't hate you, or anything. You're just not what I need. He thought I was buying it. Thought I'd go through with the mission, grab the files, walk right into his trap. Heartbroken, but obedient. Okay, I said, voice small. We'll talk after. Good girl. And Maya?
Try not to be so emotional about this.
It's not attractive. I ripped out the earpiece. But not because I was emotional. Because I was done playing. Jack thought I was heartbroken and distracted.
Perfect.
Let him think that while I was walking into his trap. Let him think I had no idea about the guards waiting. About Viktor Petrov. About the $50,000. Let him think I was just a stupid girl from Little Havana crying over a cheating boyfriend. And then let him watch what that stupid girl could do when she stopped pretending to need him. The security guards were waiting on the 3rd floor. 5 of them. All armed with handguns. All confident this would be easy. Some crying girl heartbroken over her boyfriend. They had no idea. Jack had no idea. That the girl who walked into this building wasn't the same one who'd trusted him. She died the moment she saw those photos. What walked in here was something else entirely. Something cold. Calculated. And very, very angry. I'd cut the main power before entering. Emergency lights only. Shadows everywhere. And in the shadows, I was a ghost. I moved through them, using every skill I'd learned. Years of training. Years of being underestimated because I was young, female, pretty. Years of people like Sienna and Jack thinking I was just background noise. The first guard went down from a kick to the knee that shattered his kneecap. He dropped. Silent scream. The second one got my elbow to his temple.
Lights out.
The third caught my knee in his solar plexus and crumpled, gasping for air he couldn't find. The 4th and 5th were better trained. Actual fighters. Not just hired muscle. But I was fueled by something they didn't have.
Pure.
Concentrated.
Rage.
And when you're that angry, you don't feel pain the same way. You just keep moving. Keep striking. Keep destroying. 3 minutes later, all 5 were on the ground. Breathing.
Alive.
But very much wishing they weren't. I grabbed the research files I was supposedly there to steal. Tucked them into my bag, like I was actually going to deliver them. Then I pulled out my phone and made a call to the one person in the city who'd seen through my bullshit in 30 seconds. Who might actually appreciate what I was about to do. Damien? It's Maya Reyes. Remember that job offer? I'm ready to talk. End of part 1. Your best friend and boyfriend just tried to have you killed. Do you run? Or do you burn their whole world down? Part 2 drops next week.